Coming up on Flavor Secrets today, we're going to be talking about cooking for one. What do you do on the nights when you're home alone? I think that's when you should cook. So we're going to show you how to bake a chicken, roast some carrots, and make some Israeli couscous. We're also going to show you 3 other amazing things to do with the leftovers: some chicken bites on spoons, some Vietnamese spring rolls, some tacos, and all of that, plus we'll show you how to use the carcass, the whole bird, for soup. Besides that, I have an amazing guest. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Chef Lynn. Welcome to the Flavor Secrets Kitchen, and welcome to Alisa Zee.
Thank you so much, Chef Lynn. This is an unusual situation for me. I'm not used to being in front and having people see me.
That's right. She's usually behind the mic. She has been a Detroit radio personality for a long, long time and is about to go viral because she has a new job on the internet. Tell us about
I do
that.
actually. I am the new national news anchor and health editor for the 24/7 news channel for iHeart Radio. Brand new product we launched just a couple of months ago. You can download the app, absolutely, for iHeart Radio and tune into the 24/7 news channel. You're never more than a couple minutes away from me, whether you want to be or not.
Cool. All right, now I know you wear some other hats too, and one of the most important ones is mom.
Yes, yes.
So when Alisa and I talked about doing this show, we talked about different cooking situations, and she had a great idea, and it was, what do you cook when you're alone? Because whether you're single or you're married or you're not married, well, if you're single, you're not married, right?
Good
but
point.
Anyway, everybody gets in a situation where they're home alone and
Every
the kids
now
are
and
gone,
then.
or like one of my friends likes to say, when the warden is away, what do I cook? So what's the worst meal? I mean, it tends to be the time when we don't take care of ourselves and we just want to grab something quick. What's the worst meal you ever ate alone?
Oh boy, I've never even thought. You mean like bad stuff for me?
Yeah.
Like making popcorn and having a Diet Coke with extra butter on the popcorn? That's a good meal for me sometimes if I'm alone.
So today we're making a meal that's really easy, that's nutritious, that doesn't have a lot of ingredients, and that purposely has leftovers.
Ooh, you fit so many of the criteria that I look for in a meal right there.
Good. Okay, so we're going to bake a chicken, we're going to roast some carrots, we're going to introduce something that I think is a little bit new for a lot of people, Israeli couscous, and then we're going to show you 4 really cool things to do with the leftovers, and as we go along, we're going to show you some really cool little new equipment things that I found, because I'm a gadget person.
Ooh,
I don't know
fun.
about you.
Fun
but
stuff. Toys. I like toys.
Toys.
are good.
Okay, we're going to show you
Toys are
some
good.
new toys. All right, so here's our chicken, and I actually have
I
already...
knew that. Are you proud of me?
I am proud
I
of you.
knew
You
that this was
a
our chicken. Okay, good.
No, she said that, I think, because I just called it a turkey before we
You
started.
did, you
so
did.
It is a chicken, that's
I'll
for
correct
sure.
you, Chef. Chef Alisa now. In the kitchen, this is a chicken.
There you go. All right. So the first thing we want to do is just brush oil all over that chicken. So
Is that
why
my
don't you do
homework?
that? This is olive oil here. And we want to just really gop that on and cover that whole chicken. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking about marinating, talking about curing, etc., etc. And to have a really tender chicken, all you have to do is coat the outside with oil, and that will seal all the juices in.
I have a question, if I may.
You may.
Is there a reason to just brush it rather than pick this up and pour it on and then rub it in?
Well, then we'll end up with too much oil on the carrots.
Oh,
is the reason not to do that.
There's a method to Chef
Right.
Lynn's madness, always.
Method to my madness. And also I want to make sure that we cover that chicken totally, because wherever there isn't oil, it's going to be dry. Now all we want to do is, I've got a mix of salt and pepper here. We're just going to sprinkle it on, and then I'm going to show you my Chef Lynn trick
She didn't trust me to sprinkle, did you
to
notice?
make this chicken look gorgeous, and it's paprika. Okay. This
Now, do you
happens.
say paprika or paprika?
I say paprika. Do you say paprika?
I do. But
say
I'm
tomato?
from the other
I
side
say
of Woodward,
tomato.
I guess. I don't know. It must be.
Could be, right. Right. Okay, so now I'm just going to sprinkle this as evenly as I can all over this whole chicken, and that's going to cause it to have a really beautiful brown sheen when it's finished.
Okay.
So now we're finished. Guess what?
Poof,
we're done
we're
with
done?
our meal. All we have
How
to
do you
do,
Yay! High five for us.
all we have to do is put it in the oven
Okay.
at 375 for about an hour and a half.
Covered or uncovered?
Uncovered.
Oh, so it gets
Good
all beautiful.
question.
Thank you very much.
Good question. I'm impressed.
Thank you. I've
Or-
been in the kitchen before. I've seen a chicken before.
Or you can
Once.
put it in at 400 if you want it to be done a little bit faster.
Okay.
In an hour. Okay?
Beautiful.
So all we
Okay.
have to do is pop this in the oven. We've got an hour to play.
Yay, let's play.
Okay, so when your chicken's is almost done, that's when it's time to start the Israeli couscous. Now, I understand this is something you make a lot, right?
I do. Well, one, I just like to say couscous.
Okay.
Because it's really fun. I mean, when the kids say, what are we having for dinner? I say couscous, and they go, yay, just because it's fun to say. But it is so easy and so fast. I love it. And it's pretty. I mean, I see you got the tri-colored couscous. It's beautiful.
Right. I'm glad you pointed that out because there are different colors of couscous.
Right.
And it's so easy to make. I've got 2 1/4 cups of water boiling here for 2 cups of couscous. And this little jar that I just happened to find at Plum Market has exactly 2 cups in it. So here's how hard it is to make. Well, actually, first let's mention that it's kind of bland, right?
It is on its own, so you have to dress it up a little bit, right?
Which might be one of the reasons that the kids like it, because it is bland. But I'm going to show you how I would dress it up, and then maybe you can tell me how you would dress it up.
Okie dokie.
So all I'm going to do is pour the couscous in there, and then I'm going to put a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes in here. You know how you get the big boxes of tomatoes at Costco and you don't really know what to do with all the rest of them? And these are even actually starting to kind of dry out.
I wondered about that.
I'm just going to throw them in there.
Beautiful.
Then I'm just going to throw a little onion and celery. This is about 1/3 of a stalk of onion and just maybe 4 tablespoons of celery.
Okay.
Actually, it's the opposite. It's 1/3 of a stalk of celery and 3 to 4 tablespoons of onion, something like that. Then we're going to set a timer. I'm just going to look at the clock, and it'll be done in 10 minutes.
That's it.
And it's all sauced and fixed. Done. Due to the magic of television, we have our chicken all finished. Poof. And actually, before we start talking about the chicken, I wanted to say a couple more things about the couscous.
Oh, I never tire of talking about couscous. Tell me more about couscous.
Good. I think you know this, but everyone might not. And that is, make sure you put it in a larger pot than you think you need.
Yes.
Because it's like rice, and it's going to increase like triple in volume. Okay, so 1 cup will feed. Would you make more than a cup for your family?
I would,
2
because
girls
I like leftovers.
Okay, so
Yes.
generally make 2 cups.
Yeah, that's what I do. I make
But that's
2 cups.
plenty for 4 people.
Absolutely, that's plenty for 4 people, without question.
Good. And the other thing is to turn the heat down for the 10 minutes, not to leave it boiling ferociously for 10
May I
minutes.
ask a
but
question
turn it
about
down.
that?
You can.
Because once I bring it to a boil, I turn it off and let it stand on the hot burner.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Well, it might be the difference between gas and electric.
That
Do you
could
have
be.
an
I have
electric?
electric, yes.
Okay, so that hot plate, that's going to be more like a hot
That's
plate.
right. I don't have the control that you do.
And it'll stay hot. But I'm
Good
glad
point.
you pointed that out, because if you have gas, you have to leave it on simmer for 10 minutes.
Right. Okay.
And then it's really great because this timer will go off in just a minute, and we can just turn it off and leave it sit there, as you said, and eat it whenever we want to.
perfect.
Okay, so here's our beautiful chicken.
It is. It's gorgeous.
And if you want to serve it like this, one thing I always do is just take a little juice out of here. You don't have to
Yes.
baste it during the cooking, but I like to bring a little bit up just to make it look even better.
So because we had brushed it with the olive oil initially, that's why we don't have to baste it during the cooking?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. It'll keep it nice and hot. Okay, how hot is this? Can I move this? Oh, there's our
You
couscous
said
timer.
I forgot already it was going
Right.
to do that.
That's why I always set a timer. And
Smart.
in fact, I usually have 2 or 3 timers around my kitchen because I like to time everything.
How do you
I'm gonna
remember what's
forget
for
or
which?
answer the phone. I set the timer by whatever it's timing.
Oh, that's smart. Not just a pretty face. Okay, beautiful.
All right, now we're going to carve this chicken. And Alisa tells me that she's never carved a chicken before.
Yeah, so when you say we, you mean...
So, I mean you.
Uh-oh.
Because I think it'd be great for them to see how to carve a chicken.
You mean you think it would
By
be great for them to
someone
see? Yeah, by someone who's never carved
Who's
one?
never carved a chicken.
I've tried.
So they'll know how easy it is. And see, our carrots are there all ready. Now, how do we know if a chicken's done?
Well, you know the old adage, stick a fork in me, it's done. That's not how it works for a chicken, is it?
Not quite,
Because
no.
that could be dangerous.
If you want to be really, really safe, you should use a thermometer, and you
Okay.
should make sure your chicken gets to 165
Now,
Fahrenheit.
my question is, where do you put the thermometer? Obviously not like when you take a baby's temperature. That's not where we put the thermometer.
No,
for a chicken.
not for a chicken.
Chicken
no.
wouldn't squeal at us like the baby does, but it's
Okay, so-
important, obviously, to know where to put it so that we know that we're getting the heat at the right point in the chicken, right?
That's a good question, right. You want to put it in the thickest part of the chicken, and you want to make sure that it's not touching a bone.
Right.
Because if it's touching a bone, the bone is porous, and you're not going to get the right read.
Okay.
So actually, you can take this to 160 and then let it sit for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because then the temperature will come up about 5 degrees. So
All
if
right.
you want to,
So where's the thickest point in the chicken?
Well, I usually put it here between the breast and the leg.
Okay.
And just kind of put it down there in that thicker part.
Okay.
Now the breast cooks faster than the leg, but if your breast is at 165, your leg's going to be pretty close.
Okay.
All right, and now all that's left is we need to take the breast off. Can you see the line here?
That I do see.
So you want to slice through that.
Okay. We're done with joints. Well, with those joints.
With those joints, right. We still have the wing joints to do.
I feel like I'm back in the 70s. Okay, yes.
Oh.
Okay, am I doing a good job here?
About that.
I wouldn't remember
Okay,
the
good.
answers.
So now you've come right down to the breastbone.
Okay.
Now you want to angle your knife toward the bone. Imagine how the bone is shaped that goes around the breast.
Okay.
It's kind of a
Curved.
curve like that.
Okay.
So you're going to angle your knife, your blade, toward, so I go away like that, right?
Am I on this side here?
Right.
Like
Stick your
this?
knife back in there to hang on to it, and I'll help you hang on to it too. And then
Okay,
just slice it right off. You're going to slice from here.
I'm chicken stupid.
Look at this angle
Okay.
here I'm cutting. From here, and with this against the bone,
Okay.
right down and off.
Oh, this whole,
The whole thing
piece.
is gonna come
Okay,
off,
the
right.
whole breast. The whole kit and caboodle. Chicken caboodle.
The whole chicken caboodle, right.
There we go.
Okay, we missed a little bit on the bottom there.
Well, it's my first
But that's
time.
okay. That's okay, just do it again and get the rest of it.
Can I go forward, or is that illegal?
You can. It's
No, you don't want me
Either
to. I
way.
can tell. I'll go this way.
No, I don't want you to. Because I want you to get as much as possible. So I want
Gotcha.
you to be down against the
And then
The natural
but there's
curve
still a
of the
little
bone.
more I can get, right? Or
That's
should
all
I
right.
leave
You know, we're
that?
not going to worry about that because
leave the
we have
schnibbles
a
for now?
great use of that. What did you call those?
Schnibbles.
Schnibbles. Oh, I love
Schnibbles,
that
yes,
word.
the
That's
little
so
pieces
cute.
that stick to the bone. Those are
Until you're a
schnibbles.
mom. Okay, now you need to take the breast off on the other side.
Okay.
And notice the breastbone here. You want to miss
Oh,
that.
gotcha.
And go down. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to pick this carcass up, and we're going to use that. And the first thing we're going to do for leftovers is make some stock. Or actually, this has quite a bit of beef in it, or beef.
It does?
Quite a bit of meat in
It's
it.
a magic chicken. Okay.
Meat in it.
You want me to pick it up just with my hands?
You can, sure.
Okay.
And we're going to put it in here. But first, let me show you this really cool thing that I just found from Williams-Sonoma. I tricked you. It's called a soup sock, and I've never seen this before. Just recently, I got some for Christmas, and they come 3 in a package, and they're just
Okay.
these like little things like this. And when you open them up, you can put them inside your stock pot, and it holds all of the
Oh, I love that.
holds all of the stuff, so that after your soup is done, or your broth is
Right.
done, or your stock is done, whichever you're making, broth being stock with meat. Okay.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
the difference.
See, I learned.
Then you can just pick this
up.
up and take it
You have
right
all
out,
this
and you're
stuff.
done. Right.
I
You wanna-
love that so much because the only thing I do not like about making soup is
is
getting
the
all
mess.
the stuff out.
Right,
Yes.
and it takes a lot of time. And we're
It
trying to
does.
do easy things here. You actually can even sanitize this and reuse it if you want to, but they're
then wear it
pretty
as a
cheap.
hairnet.
And wear it as a hairnet. You could if you wanted to, but I don't
Next time
know.
you're in the kitchen.
Okay, so let's put the carcass in there.
Now I get to pick
Now
this
you
up
get
and
to
play.
pick
I
it
get to
up,
play with
right?
the carcass. Yeesh. Okay. Just
And
set
we're-
it gently. Yes. Okay.
Set
Now
it
you have
in
to
there,
hold that
that's
there.
right.
So, and we don't want to forget our collagen lady face wing.
Right.
But we don't put this in there, or we do?
I don't really, well, this
That's
wing,
another piece of a
you
wing.
said you wanted to eat, so we'll keep that one.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know.
But
Your
any-
kitchen, your rules. So okay, we'll put that
Any
over
little
there.
bits of good stuff we want to put
Any
in there. Like
schnibbles.
there's an extra bone.
piece
We
of-
want that, so we get
Okay.
more collagen,
Okay.
etc. Okay, so now we've got our
Our soup sock filled
our
with stuff.
soup sock filled with, what did you call it? Schnibbles? Schnibbles of chicken. I love that. And then the only thing I have to add in order to make some good stock that will turn into soup is some mirepoix. Onion, celery, and carrot.
Mirepoix.
And you can change this up. You can use leek or
Okay.
something else like that. Other root vegetables if you want to. Okay?
When
So I'm
you're
just gonna-
making soup, how important is it for the proportions to be right? Because when I make chicken soup, for example, I just throw in a bunch of carrots and I just cut up a couple of onions and I throw in a sweet potato. I don't measure. How important is it to have those equal parts?
That's a really good question. It's not important at all. Those are just the standard components.
Okay.
And that's how I usually do it. I just have that as a habit,
Okay.
and I throw it in a pie plate and I'm done. Then the only other thing I need is,
Your
and
phone's standing here like
actually,
this. I'm covered in schmutz.
in
Yes.
addition, I've got a wet cloth for you right
Oh,
there.
yay, thank you.
And the only other thing we need to add is some spices for the cooking.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I've got some fresh thyme here.
Okay.
And if you want to, you can take a little piece of muslin and make this into a bag. But if you have the soup sock,
You don't need it.
you don't really need to. And also, I don't care if there are a few little
Right.
bits of herb in my
character.
soup, right? It tastes good and it's not a problem. So I've got a couple sprigs of fresh thyme.
Okay.
I'm just gonna break. Okay, now I've got 2 really nice Turkish bay leaves.
Beautiful.
And by the way, I just love Penzeys spices. I don't know if you know Penzeys, but it's
I
at
don't.
13 Mile in Southfield. Used to be you could only get them on the internet.
Right.
And now you can, one of the great things about it is, as you know, spices go bad.
Right.
And you can buy just little teeny jars of things that you need.
That's beautiful. Penzi's 13 in Southfield, I'll remember that.
Really nice for
little bits.
Yeah. Okay, now I've got some white peppercorns here. This can be any kind of peppercorns, red, black, whatever.
Okay.
And to release the flavor, I want to take a wide knife and just crush them. And then they can go in my soup.
Okay.
Now I'll just cover this with water and
poof.
just cover it with water, but not too much. Make it maybe like an inch or two above however much you've got in here.
Okay.
And also your pot needs to be taller than it is wide. So when it's simmering away for 2 or 3 hours, then you won't lose all of your liquid.
I never knew that.
If you have a really wide pot, you've got a lot of surface area, and
so that's why it reduces
much.
down and okay.
Right, that's the reason soup pots are different.
Okay.
Okay, so just bring water to, let's say, 2 inches above, and let that simmer for 2 or 3 hours. Take your soup stock out, and you've got some really nice stock, which you can easily turn into soup, as you know.
Right.
Just add some vegetables, add some noodles. Okay, so let's clean this up, and then we're going to talk about what we can do with our leftovers.
Beautiful.
So we've almost got our meal done.
Yay!
Already. Here's the couscous. I'm ready to open it up and take a look. Here we go.
That is so pretty.
Isn't that awesome the way that works?
That was just ingredients a few minutes ago. Look at what it is now. It's like artwork.
Yeah, it's food. One thing I like about this, putting the tomatoes in, is it gives the couscous some nice taste, and also
beautiful. You know what I like?
It looks really pretty.
You know what I like?
What would you like?
The scooper.
The scooper?
I like the scooper. Check this out. Would that be perfect for ice cream? Get some good Hudsonville, Michigan made, and there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll do dessert another day.
I might take a different look at this from now on. Okay, so now we've got a really colorful meal. We've got orange, green, white, red. The only thing that looks a little bit bland to me is maybe that chicken.
Okay.
So anybody who watches this knows I'm really big on garnish. So I'm going to choose just some onions that will complement the taste of the chicken and also be a little bit different color.
Garnish
so these are
us.
spring onions, and what I've done is cut them on an angle just so they'd be really pretty.
Is a spring onion a green onion? Is that the same thing?
Spring onion, green onion, scallion.
Okay.
Good question. It's all the same thing,
Great.
the long green one. And also, a lot of people ask me, do we use the green part? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Sure.
Go all the way to the end of it and just snip off a tiny bit on the end.
Beautiful.
So there we've got a beautiful meal for one, and we've got all kinds of chicken left over for something else. A meal for the girls for the next day, or yourself for the next day, whatever.
All of us for the next day.
So we've got 4 really good ideas for things you can do with leftovers. Let's talk about that. When I've got leftover meat, especially chicken, my mind goes first to tacos all the time because they're so easy to make and they're such a crowd pleaser. But today we're going to just kind of use our leftovers and add just a couple of little things, because people say to me all the time they just don't want recipes where there are a million ingredients where they have to go buy something.
Right. May I ask a question about the taco shell itself?
Sure.
Because we had a whole discussion. My little one said, well, it's a soft tortilla. That's not a taco you're making. I want only a hard taco. And my 13-year-old said, well, yes, haven't you ever heard of a soft shell taco? We can still call it a taco, right?
Oh, sure, of course.
Hey, Emma Claire, you hear that? We can still call it a taco.
So we've got some corn tortillas, and we've also got some flour ones over here being kept warm. And the way I warmed them is I put them between 2 pieces of paper towel.
Okay.
And I put them in the microwave for 40 seconds.
Well,
but if you don't want to warm them that way, you can warm them on a hot griddle, no oil, just for 10 to 15 seconds on each side.
We're not cooking them, we're just warming them.
Right. Okay. We're just warming them because it makes them more flexible and easier to use.
More pliable.
More pliable, right. That's a good word.
I like that word of the day. I'm a wordsmithstress. Okay.
So any idea what that is?
No, I thought this looked like a really big toe separator for someone with giant feet getting a pedicure. What do you think?
Giant toe separator? It could be. Actually.
But I think I can guess really.
Okay.
Do we put our shell in there? And
exactly.
It holds it in place so that we don't glorp all over the place?
Exactly.
Yay,
yeah.
me.
It's an individual taco server.
Beautiful.
And I love it because it holds your taco and you don't make a mess all over the place. Or if you want to make the tacos for people, you can just give them each an individual serving thing. So let's start with our tortilla, and this is a real small one, like a 6-inch one.
Okay.
I think you know what to do with it.
Uh-oh, am I going to stand it up in here?
There you go.
Oh,
I try to make mine even, but I'm kind of anal
Well,
about
if you
that.
give me 12 minutes or so, I can make them even, but...
There you go. So we've got our 3
Good enough.
tacos, And what I've chosen to put in them is first, of course, some of the meat.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your tacos.
Okay.
So you're choosing white meat.
All right, and now grilled onions.
So I'm adding some caramelized onions, and I just did this in a frying pan with a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
Okay, then I have something fun here. This is called, can you guess what this is called?
I'm afraid.
It's called a ping pong radish.
Oh, I love that.
Looks like a ping pong ball.
Ping pong radish. I've never heard of such a thing.
And they're white on the outside, and they're red on the inside.
Look,
And
this
it
is the
has-
inside of that?
That's right.
So,
And then instead of your normal cheese and sour cream, just
Okay.
to keep this lower fat, we're gonna put some chipotle mayonnaise on there.
that's
what
what
this
that
is.
is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's a nice little hot taste
Little
on the
zzz
top,
to it.
just to
Good.
blend it all together.
Please notice she's not letting me deal with the gloopy things because we don't know where it would end up. That's another technical kitchen term, gloopy.
Gloopy. Actually,
Yes.
I didn't know that about you, but I'm glad I was lucky and I found that out. Okay, so the way I made this is this was just a cup of low-fat mayonnaise.
Okay.
And I took 2 chipotle peppers out of this
Okay.
chipotle and adobe sauce. This is
Oh,
just a can you can
okay.
find in pretty much any grocery store. And I just chopped them up, and then you can see it is a little gloopy in there.
Oh, okay.
I
See,
took
you
one of
use
these.
the word now, too.
I took one of these little. Well, I figure if you can say it on the radio, it must be just fine.
That's right. That's right. George Carlin would not put this on the banned list. Absolutely.
Good. So then I just took some of that sauce out of there, 1 little spoon,
Oh,
and mixed it in.
Smooshed
too.
it in there. Good.
Right. So it makes the mayonnaise kind of different,
I like
special.
it.
And there you go. You've got a great meal of tacos.
And it's so pretty. I love that.
Yeah, I love that holder. I really do. Now we can take the same ingredients and make a little appetizer really quickly. We don't
Okay.
even have to go get anything else. We've got some things that taste really good together here. So we've got some chicken, right? We've got some caramelized onion. So I want this to be chopped really teeny.
Okay.
Because I'm going to put it on this spoon over here, this appetizer spoon. And you know, half of the issue with making appetizers is just having a pretty little dish.
Yes.
So I'm constantly on the lookout for pretty little dishes, and I love these spoons. You can find them at Sur La Table or Williams Sonoma or Crate and Barrel, or those are all places. Pier 1, I look for little
Okay.
appetizers like this. And what I'm going to make is just some chicken mixed with a little bit of this chipotle sauce.
Okay.
Make it taste
Moisten
good.
it all up that
Moisten
way.
it all up. Put just a bite, pardon my fingers, but it's easier.
Okay, that one's yours.
Put just a bite on the spoon. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of caramelized onion to the top of it. Can you already imagine how good this will taste?
Yes.
And then we'll take just a little tiny bit of our leftover
I'm afraid the
radish.
microphone will pick up my stomach gurgling here.
Your stomach's gurgling because you're so hungry?
Yes, absolutely. Well, and it's all yummy looking stuff. My goodness.
So in a restaurant, this could be called what? Baked chicken with ping pong radish and caramelized onion. And you've got a nice little
And the
tasty
name
treat.
is longer than the spoon.
Right. So for our last amazing leftover feat, we're going to make
F-E-A-T, not F-E-E-T.
F-E-A-T,
Okay,
right?
yes. Confused.
We're going to make some spring rolls that are common to Vietnam and Thailand both.
Okay.
So have you ever made spring rolls before?
I've made spring rolls. I've never made them with this type of skin, though.
Oh, cool.
So
Great.
this will be fun.
Great. So there is a little trick to this, and I'll show you how. You can find these in Korean stores
Okay.
or some Chinese stores too, carry them. And you can see that this is a very thin paper that's kind of,
Yes.
it's actually really fragile. It breaks
That's
really
fragile.
easily.
Yes. It
So
doesn't
you-
have the
you have to
collagen
be-
of the chicken we
Actually,
talked
I
about
think
before.
it does
does
have
it?
some collagen in there. We're going to have to check that out online. I'm sure
Okay.
they'll know on Wikipedia. But anyway, so you have to handle them a little bit carefully.
Okay.
And then I've got some hot water here, enough to cover, and you're just going to drop it in.
Just plunk,
Plunk.
plunk.
And the only trick is you want to leave it here just for a few seconds.
Okay.
The only trick is not to do too many at a time. Like imagine
Will
if
they
you
stick
put
together?
4 in, you're going to have a glob that looks like a
Okay.
jellyfish.
But
So
we
you
do
wanna
want
do
more
them
than one, right?
One at a time, right. So what I usually do is I'll pull one out, put one in. So
Okay.
one is softening while I'm making one.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now can you feel this? You can still see it. When it's ready, you can
Oh,
almost
yes.
not see it. So we need to leave it maybe 8 or 10 more seconds. So to put in these, what you put in these is really up to you.
Okay.
Now often they'll have herbs in them, and you want to think about what you can put in there that looks pretty, because you
Right.
can see
These are-
through this when
I
it's
love
done.
that, yes.
So that's one of the great things about them, and so they're fun to make for a party. I've actually made them the day before too. The only trick there
Oh.
is you can't pile them up because the skin gets really
Oh,
sticky.
good point.
And then they'll stick together, and when you
Okay.
try and take
Let me
one
feel
off,
this.
it'll just pull apart.
These are fun.
Yeah, you can see that they they start softening up.
Yes.
And as soon as they're soft enough to bend, then you can take it out and make your spring roll. And I found this is kind of a Chef Lynn trick too. It helps to set this on a clean dish towel.
Okay.
Okay? Because if you try and set it on here on
It'll
the counter,
stick, won't
it'll
it?
stick and it'll be
Okay.
just a mess. So then you just need to pick your ingredients.
Okay.
Often you'll find fresh herbs in
Okay.
these, so I like to put a basil leaf. If you
Should
can
we
find
put another one in while we're preparing
big
this
one? It's cool. We can. Right. That's
See,
a good catch.
I paid attention.
You did. You did. You're a really good student. You can come back. Okay,
that
so
smells so
imagine
good.
when I make this, then that basil leaf will show through the other side.
Oh, that'll be so pretty.
So often you would use lettuce, but I
Okay.
saw some really cool bok choy
All right.
in the market, and so I wanted to try that. So I'm going to take out that thicker part because
Okay.
we're going to bend this, right? And I'm going to put this, the pretty side, down
Okay.
toward the outside, and then we'll put a little bit of cucumber, we'll put a little bit of carrot. And often inside these you'll see some kind of a crunch, like nuts.
Right.
So, you know, I'm the tortilla girl, so I like to put tortilla croutons inside.
Oh, perfect.
So I made these, I make them all the time and keep them around because they're
Sure.
great for putting on top of soup. They're crispy, they're delicious.
That's so
you should
great.
taste them because tell me what,
well, you
tell
know
me
what,
they taste like.
Oh, you can make me eat on camera?
I am. We can,
Oh, yum.
yeah, isn't that great? It's like a cracker.
And nothing stuck in my teeth. It's good.
So I can put some of that inside the middle.
Okay.
And I made these by just cutting them up into 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch slice,
All right.
little squares, right? Put them in a baggie, put in a tablespoon of butter, and I shook it like shake and bake.
Okay.
And then I just put them on a cookie sheet and bake
And
them,
you bake them till the-
for 12 to 15
Beautiful.
minutes. Okay? All right, now we're going to need a little bit of more bok choy there
Okay.
to fill that up. And actually some lettuce in here would be nice, but I didn't get any out, so we're going to use all bok choy.
Let us use bok choy.
Then kind of scoot this over to the left. Pull this around, and the only trick to this is keeping it tight.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to roll it up just like
And
a
we're back to
grape
the
leaf.
70s again.
I bet you know how
Okay.
to make up the. I bet you know
Okay.
how to make a grape leaf.
I do.
And then you
That's-
just roll it up, and it all stays together just like that.
That is beautiful.
So you've got a really fresh appetizer here,
That's
or you could
beautiful.
almost serve this instead of a salad
I would.
as a side.
Absolutely, I would.
Right.
It's gorgeous.
Great idea to do with your leftover chicken, which we forgot to put in there.
I didn't forget. I thought you didn't want me to. I blame
No,
Chef Lynn.
we were supposed to put the chicken in there, so you put the chicken in there. Do as we say, not as
Not
we
as
do.
we do.
Right?
That's right.
Okay, great.
Look what we did. I'm so impressed. I mean, thank you is what I meant to say. But
Aw.
look what we did.
Yeah, we did a lot.
We did.
So here's our meal for one.
Okay.
Starting out here, we've got our baked chicken, roasted carrots, and our couscous with tomato. Then we made some soup, which is still cooking there. Or we could easily turn that into stock. We've got an appetizer that was chicken, caramelized onions, and ping pong radish.
pong.
Then we've got our Vietnamese spring rolls with some sweet chili sauce. And then we've got our great tacos.
Feast
So
for
it
a
was
queen.
fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
And
me.
I hope
This was
you'll
a
try all
blast.
these at home.
After I try them all here, you bet I will.
Good. I'm Chef Lynn. Enjoy.